You are sitting comfortably, aren't you? You have a roof over your head. You have a screen in front of your face. Maybe you have a glass of something warm in your hand. The heat is humming in the vents. It is easy to take that for granted. It is easy to look at this New Year's Eve and complain about the little things. Maybe the pizza arrived cold. Maybe the internet is slow. Maybe you are annoyed with your brother or your neighbor. But I want to take you back to a night where New Year's Eve wasn't about champagne or resolutions. It was about survival. I want to take you back to a night where the only fireworks were cannon fire and the only confetti was snow and sleet. I want you to close your eyes for a second. I want you to imagine the cold. Not the kind of cold you feel when you run to the mailbox. I mean a living, breathing cold. A wet Tennessee winter cold that soaks through your wool coat, eats through your boots, and settles deep into the marrow of your bones. The date is December 31st, 1862. The place is Murfreesboro, Tennessee, the banks of the Stones River. On this night, 80,000 men are lying in the mud. On one side, you have the Union Army, the blue. On the other side, barely 600 yards away, you have the Confederates, the gray. They are so close they can hear each other coughing. They can smell the smoke from each other's campfires. And everyone knows what is coming when the sun rises. January 1st isn't going to bring a parade. It is going to bring a slaughter. General Bragg and General Rosecrans have moved their chess pieces. The cannons are loaded. The bayonets are sharpened. These men, farm boys from Ohio, mechanics from Detroit, cotton growers from Alabama, shopkeepers from Mississippi, they are lying on the frozen ground, trying to sleep. But how can you sleep when you know that tomorrow might be your last day on God's green earth? Imagine the fear in the pit of your stomach. You are 19 years old. You are miles away from your mother's kitchen. You are shivering uncontrollably, wrapped in a thin blanket that is stiff with frost. You look up at the sky, and you don't see hope. You see the indifferent stars. And then something starts to happen. It starts on the southern side. To keep the morale up, to keep the blood pumping, a military band starts to play. The brass horns cut through the icy air. They play Bonnie Blue Flag. It is a loud, boisterous, rebellious song. The Confederate soldiers start to cheer. They hoot and holler. It is a way of saying, "We are still here. We are not afraid." The Union soldiers hear this, and they aren't going to take it lying down. So, a Federal band strikes up, drums rolling, fifes screaming. They play Hail Columbia. The Union boys cheer back. It becomes a battle before the battle, a duel of music. The South plays Dixie, fast, energetic, proud. The North answers with Yankee Doodle, sharp, rhythmic, defiant. Back and forth it goes, song against song, note against note. It is a wall of noise, echoing off the cedar trees and the frozen river. It is a way for these terrified men to puff up their chests and pretend they aren't scared to die. It is a way to dehumanize the enemy, to scream at the darkness. But then the mood shifts. The air changes. One of the bands, history argues about which side started it, but most folks say it was a Federal band, starts to play a different tune. They don't play a war march. They don't play a patriotic anthem. They play a slow, simple melody. Home, sweet home. Be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. And a miracle happens. The other band doesn't interrupt. They don't try to drown it out with a faster song. They join in. Suddenly, you have brass bands from the north and brass bands from the south playing the same song in the same key at the same time. And then the soldiers join in, 80,000 voices. Think about that sound. It isn't a cheer anymore. It is a prayer. Men who are trained to kill each other, men who have been demonizing each other for months, are suddenly singing the exact same words. Home, home, sweet, sweet home. In that moment, the uniforms disappeared. The blue wool and the gray wool didn't matter. The politics of Lincoln and Davis didn't matter. The anger, the hatred, the propaganda, it all evaporated into the cold night air. Because underneath it all, every single one of those boys wanted the same thing. They didn't want glory. They didn't want land. They wanted their mother's fireplace. They wanted their wife's embrace. They wanted to watch their children sleep. They wanted peace. They say that rugged veterans, men with scars on their faces and ice in their veins, were weeping openly, tears freezing on their cheeks. For a few minutes, amidst the mud and the impending death, there was unity. There was a shared humanity. They realized that the guy across the field holding the rifle loved his home just as much as they loved theirs. The song ended, and a heavy silence fell over the Stones River. It wasn't the silence of fear anymore. It was the silence of respect. Now, I wish I could tell you that the next morning they packed up their guns and went home. I wish I could tell you that the song was enough to stop the war. But life isn't a fairy tale. When the sun came up on New Year's Day, the cannons roared. The battle began. It was one of the bloodiest days in American history. Thousands of those boys who sang together the night before died together the next morning. They died in the place they called the Round Forest, which they later renamed Hell's Half Acre. So why am I telling you this tragic story on New Year's Eve? Why bring up such sadness? Because, my friend, we are living in a time where we are constantly fighting. We fight on the internet. We fight about politics. We fight about money. We fight about who is right and who is wrong. We are like those bands playing Dixie and Yankee Doodle, trying to scream louder than the other side. We let our anger divide us. We let our differences make us forget that we are all human. But listen to the lesson of Stones River. When you strip everything away, when you take away the noise, the pride, the ego, we all want the same tune. We all want home, sweet home. We all want to be safe. We all want to be loved. We all want a future for our families. The person you're angry with, they want that too. The stranger you judge, they want that too. Tonight, you have a luxury that those soldiers didn't have. You have it tomorrow. You're going to wake up in a warm bed. You aren't waking up in Hell's Half Acre. That is a gift. That is a privilege that was bought at a very high price. So, here is my challenge to you for this new year. Don't wait until the night before the battle to find your humanity. Don't wait until tragedy strikes to realize what is important. Look around you right now. Look at the people in your life, even the ones who annoy you, even the ones you disagree with. See them. Really see them. Recognize that they are just travelers, just like you, looking for their home. Tonight, when the clock strikes midnight, don't just make a resolution to lose weight or make more money. Make a resolution to be a little kinder. Make a resolution to lower your weapon. Make a resolution to sing the melody that brings people together, not the war march that drives them apart. We have so much to be grateful for. The fire is warm. The house is standing. We are here. Let's not waste it on hate. Let's not waste it on pettiness. Let's fill this year with music that heals. Happy New Year, my friend. Stay warm. Hold your loved ones tight and never forget the value of home.